Thanks to the support as a channel member, Nathan Rowley. Don't worry, folks. I saw what you saw in the last episode. We just didn't have enough enormous defenders, so we've signed a 6'7" one as well to complement the 6'5" and 6'4" ones that we already had. Hello and welcome to part 74 of Wembley to Wembley. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, it is the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup, plus a league game, unless we need a replay. Since you're last with me, we have played a lot of football. As you can see, 12 games into the season, and we are just outside the playoffs, which, to be fair, is far better than I ever could have dreamt of, I think. We're actually playing quite well with our new look system. We've only lost 2 games. We've drawn a few that maybe you would have hoped we could have won, but we've got ourselves through to the fourth qualifying round of the FA Cup, and we all know from last season just how important a cup run is, so we're really hoping for a win here today. Aldershot are struggling in the league above us, and we're doing pretty well in this league, so fingers crossed we can get ourselves into the first round proper for the second year in a row, and hopefully this time around make some money. There has been a lot of transfer business since the last episode as well. I think you saw Alfred Devine coming in, but everyone after that you've not even met yet. So we brought in a load of loans, some of them good, some of them just making up the numbers, really. I know I said I wasn't going to do that, but I've done it a little bit. So Aaron White, very much in the making up the numbers category. He's a 27-year-old defender, someone we've actually had an eye on for a few years. He's not very good, but he's free, and free is better than costing money. Ross Askew is someone who was really brought in to offer us another option. He's a winger, so we do have a proper winger now, and this was when I was still toying with the idea of going back to the 4-4-2 if we need to at some point. We've now got a winger, and Scott can play on the left wing on the other side, and we've got 2 wingers. This is the main event. Theophilus Tete is a 19-year-old centre-back who is 6'7". Can't head. Who cares? He's 6'7". He can also play fullback on either side, so he's ideal to play as part of a back three. He's on loan from Hadley United in the Isthmian Premier League. Why they've loaned him to us, I don't know. He was playing regularly for them last season and this season. They've loaned him to us for nothing, and he's come in and he's playing really well for us as well. So he's great. He's not going to be able to play in the FA Cup because he's cup tied, but he is great. Callum Douglas is another making up the numbers one. He's a striker. He's in on loan from Scunthorpe until the end of the season, again for free. And then this is a good one, Vaughan Thorne. Great name, Vaughan Thorne. He's another one who can play out wide if need be. I'm going to say it very quietly, but if there were to be a Tom Best replacement, it would look a lot like Vaughan Thorne. He's on loan from Forest until the end of the season. Luckily, we managed to find him just as Niall Ennis got injured. He's not actually scored yet, but he looks great, doesn't he? And then most recently, we've signed Amani Bolin on a permanent deal from St Albans. I think he came in from, from St Albans. Only wanted 20 quid a week. Bargain. Look how good he is for 20 quid a week. We've not actually seen very much of him yet. He's only played 1 game and wasn't very good, but he's in. And weirdly, again, was playing regularly for St Albans. They just let him go on a free. And might I mention again, 20 quid a week for a player who's been a regular in this league for what, 4 years, 3 years. We have released some of the non-contract players to balance the books, because although they only get paid if they play and they weren't playing, they still count towards the budget. So we've released Jordan Gatter, Jordan Patel and Andrew McDonnell, which gets us a little bit closer to wage budget. We're £9 a week away from being within our wage budget, which I think is fine. The board agree that that's probably fine as well. And quite excitingly, there's potentially a takeover going on as well. So not only could we be about to embark on a cup run, we're playing well in the league, and we might actually finally have a decent side that stands a real chance of promotion this season, and a cup run and a takeover. It's all they could really do now. Cherry on top, give us a stadium and everyone's delighted. Watch us now get thumped by Aldershot and the takeover fall through. I'd be very sad. Hayball, by the way, brilliant. Really, really good at right wing back. So, Jacob in goal, a back four of Devine, Hughes and Lowe. Like I say, bunch of cup-tied players, which is unfortunate to say. You're not going to get to see Tete or Bolin unless we get Aldershot dealt with in one match, which, based on last year's cup run, it's probably going to a replay. But Devine, Hughes and Lowe at the back, Scott and Hayball are the wing backs, Hogan, Young and Scowen in the midfield, with McLennan and Thorne up front. Niall Ennis has been injured. He's still not fully fit. So McLennan deputising as the deeper of the two strikers and allowing Thorne to have a little bit of a run in the team when he first arrives, which is ideal, really, because if we're going to turn him into a proper goal scorer for us, he needs a run of games or Forest are going to take him back off us because they don't want us to have nice things. So it's very, very important today. That can't be Sean Wright Phillips. I was going to say, he's like 50. No, it's Sam Wright Phillips, obviously. But Aldershot are in rotten form. They're really struggling in the division above. We're doing well in the division below. On paper, it's a very evenly matched game, which if you go on form, like Football Manager often does, form and morale, you would back us to win. But then if you are watching the highlights and saw Aldershot score with the very first one, you'd probably back them to win. So who knows how this one's going to turn out. Goodness me. I don't want to see the replay. Jacob just hasn't been the same this season. He really doesn't like having a back three in front of him. He's really struggling with it, which is not ideal. There's Lowe playing it forward to Scowen. And now Young out to Hayball, who, remember, has been brilliant. I love him at right wing back. That's a terrible cross, but it looks like we might get a second bite of it. It's with Young. Young playing it forward to Thorne. Vaughan Thorne has found himself offside. That's unfortunate. He did score in the previous round as well, so the FA Cup might be Vaughan Thorne's competition. I just want him to work out because his name's so good, but not yet. The game is still young, though. We've shown that we are capable of breaking through the Aldershot defence, like pretty much all of the National League has so far this season. So we kind of need to be. Low, proper defending there from Low, although the clearance is absolute bobbins. And I thought we'd given away a penalty there, but it's actually Hayball who is going to try and get the ball clear, gives it to Low, and now Scowen, who's got space to run into, instead plays it over the top to McLennan, who's having to play a more mature, deep-lying role as the link-up man between midfield and attack. There's McLennan shooting from range. Don't show off. Just because I'm letting you play in a deeper role, I expect better from you there. Thorne looks like he's picked up an injury, so Ennis might be coming on at half-time. I think his fitness test said he could do 45 minutes. We just need to nurse Thorne through the next 15. That was another attempt at a long throw from Scowen. They haven't really been working out. We might turn long throws off because despite having a whole load of giants in the team, we don't have anybody who can actually throw the ball to their heads, which does make the whole long throw thing a lot less effective. And at 2-0 down, our run in the FA Cup this year might be coming to an end already. We're demanding more. And I can't bring Ennis on yet. He can only do 45 minutes. Quit nagging at me if we concede here. There's no point bringing him on at all. What's the point of risking injury to him when we've already messed this up? We've been playing so well and they've been playing so poorly. This is such Football Manager things. We've got another striker on the bench, I think. Oh no, because they're all cup tied. So we've only got 5 subs available. So it is going to have to be Ennis who comes on just to try and stop us breaking Thorne. I mean, he might come on and change the game. Who knows? It does allow us to release McLennan a little bit more. This has not worked out today, has it? Scowen. Forward to McLennan. A goal back before half-time and we can dream a little. Crosses to Thorne, who's won a penalty, I think. He has won a penalty. It's a penalty right on the stroke of half-time. A goal here, and who knows what might happen in the second half with Niall Ennis coming on. It is going to be McLennan to take, and he scores. Right. Game on, boys and girls. We've got a 2-goal deficit to overturn. We can do that. McLennan, that's his 9th goal of the season. If we release him a little bit further forward, who knows what might happen? So we are going to make that change. Ennis on for McLennan and then get them that way round that we know works and hope Ennis can come on and change the game. Come on, gentlemen. We're going to berate them. We've just scored, but we're berating. I know shouts don't officially do anything, but I hope I've not upset everybody with that one. They do seem quite motivated, apart from Ennis, who probably is feeling a little bit hard done by that I've berated him when it's absolutely not his fault that we're losing the game. But you know what? We need somebody to do something. We're demanding more now. And Scott is tired. We have got Tobin on the bench who can play that role, so Tobin will come on. And then we've got Callum Douglas on the bench, who's not very good. And Aidan Hamilton on the bench, who potentially could be a difference maker. We're going to bring him on for Young and tell him to do that role. And I mean, it does sacrifice a ball winner in there, but might give us a little bit more attacking creativity. Who knows? Is anyone going to do anything? Another goal now just keeps the interest alive. Otherwise, this one is just going to peter out. Ennis plays the ball out to Hayball. He's got loads of space to run into. If he can find the right pass here, he is delaying it and having a shot, which is not what his job is. His job is literally get into positions like that, then cross to the strikers. I don't know why he's overcomplicating what is a very, very simple position to play. We've only got one more outfield sub. It's Callum Douglas. So we're going to bring him on for Scowen and tell him to be a Mazzala. I mean, he can play attacking midfield, so he can play there. It's not really his position, but it's a more attacking role. We're going to go very attacking. Magic of the Cup and all that. Berate one more time. If in doubt, shout at him for being rubbish. And I feel a little bit hard done by looking at the XG, but what are you going to do, eh? We can focus on the league this year. Oh, we need to bounce back with a good result, because that was quite the anticlimax after all the build-up. We've played a lot better than that in the league. Fingers crossed we can go and beat Herne Bay. Hey everyone, do you want to see a football manager bug? I'm being asked why Alfred Devine's being played outside his agreed position during his loan spell. His agreed position is central defender. With me so far? Good. If we go to the tactics screen, you'll see we actually have a personalised instruction on him to wherever he plays across the back four, always play him as a central defender, and he always does. But if we go into his if we go into his recent form, interestingly, lots of those appearances are being recorded as playing as a no-nonsense centre-back. And I think I know why, because when he plays on the right of the back four, the default position we've got set over there is no-nonsense centre-back. So when he plays there, even though he changes to central defender, because that position in the tactic is a no-nonsense defender position, I think it's registering him as playing no-nonsense. It's broken, basically. I've now fixed it, as you've just seen, and now I'll promise to play him there. But that's stupid, isn't it? I mean, this is stupid anyway. I hope this isn't in FM25, but the fact that that part was broken in that way, extra layer of stupid. Most complete version of Football Manager ever. Wowzers. Okay, that one's come out of the blue. Aaron White has just been recalled. This is the problem with loaning players from non-league. They can just recall them at any point. I thought we at least had him till January. That's one of our long-term loans wasted completely. I said I wasn't going to do that this year. I will never learn. Also means we're a little bit light on depth at centre-back now. It'll be fine. Right, here you go then. Your chance to see the big boys all together. Tete, who's 6'7", Divine, who's 6'3", Lowe, who's 6'5". If we don't score from a corner in this game, something is wrong. Bolin also comes in because he's no longer cup-tied, and Niall Ennis is probably fit enough to play, but this is probably a better combination, maybe. Ennis has only got one goal this year as well, so Ennis might be winding down. He's probably a good guy to have as an impact player off the bench. What I'm toying with is not that. Just playing them both as an advanced forward. What's the harm? Let's do it. Get them both in their best roles. Herne Bay. Let's go beat them, shall we? I haven't even looked where they are in the league. I'm getting carried away and ahead of myself. Where are Herne Bay? I remember them being quite good last year. Herne Bay are... I mean, there's just no way to see on there, is there? We'll have a look in between highlights. We've got to watch them kick off first. Goodness me. I mean, is anything happening here? Can we just have the end of this? I want to see where are they? Herne Bay, they're third in the league. They are quite good. So don't get too excited with expectation. We're probably going to lose this one. We have struggled with the teams around us in the league. The system that we're using is pretty good against the rubbish teams. Not so good against the good teams, which doesn't bode well for a season that's looking like leaving us in the playoffs, because then in the playoffs, you have to play against good teams. So hopefully this takeover that's going to go on will be a tycoon and we won't have to worry about stuff like that, because we'll be able to sign Alan Shearer. He's still around, isn't he? He's probably still around. Right. Young playing it out to Scott. See, that's the wing back overlapping properly. We didn't see enough of that in the last game. And there's Amani bowling. I mean, just over a minute on the clock. And that was this system, the way this system works at its best. Get it out wide, get the wide men to beat their fullbacks. They get it into the area, and then we just load the box up. We've got the 2 Mazzalas, we've got the 2 centre forwards. There's always men in the box for the crosses, and when it works really, really well. And we saw it work really, really well there. We are 10 points behind top of the table Worthing, so a title race is out of the question. But if we can start doing well against the teams around us in the league, that bodes well as the season goes on. And we do have a game in hand, actually. So dare we start to dream? The season is still young. We know enough about playing in non-league football now to know that we... what was that about being swamped on the break? We've got 5 defenders. But no, we know about this level to know that nobody can maintain that kind of form all season. We saw it with Maidstone last year. Although they ultimately did go up through the playoffs, it is very possible for teams who are way clear at the top of the league to just have a little bit of a rubbish spell. Right, here we have our first corner that's in a highlight. It's going to be Scott to take. We've got all of the big men forward. It's aimed at Lowe, and then Tete, and his header unfortunately goes over. The one problem with the big boys, Tete in particular, can't actually head properly. He's enormous and got good jumping reach and all that. His heading is shocking. So he's really just there to be a nuisance. We don't want him to be the one applying the finish like he did there. We want him to be the one that they mark because he's massive to make space for Lowe, who's almost as big but actually good in the air. And it kind of worked the opposite way around there. We aimed at Lowe and then it ended up with Tete and he couldn't do anything with it once it came to him. That is a poor pass, but Bowling's done well with it. And now Lowe to Scowen. Scowen, space to run into, plenty of time, finds Young, who goes very direct and misses Thorne completely. And Young now to Scott. Cross comes in looking for McLennan, who's picked up a knock. And we're probably going to have to bring Ennis on because, once again, we're picking up injuries to our forwards. But we've got another corner just before half-time. A second goal here. I'd go in at half-time feeling a lot more comfortable. Cross comes in! And there's Alfred Devine! And that's 2-0. I said we'd score a corner today. And goodness me, did we score a corner today? And that is a hugely important goal when it comes to our promotion aspirations. It's not pretty. It is effective. 2-0 as we go in at half-time. And now we're going to have to take off our top scorer because he's picked up a knock. But having Niall Ennis on the bench is not a terrible situation to be in. So Ennis can come on to play with Thorne. They've not had the opportunity to play together yet. Thorne came in just as Ennis got injured. So the experience and link-up play of Ennis might be what we need to unlock Thorne, because obviously he creates so much for McLennan. Maybe he'll do the same job for Thorne. We shall see, I guess. I would like Thorne, because his name is great, to become really good. We're not seeing it just yet. But, you know, we've got to keep Nottingham Forest happy by playing him. It's all about keeping Nottingham Forest happy. Right, it is Herne Bay on the attack here, and I don't like it. Head it clear. We didn't head it clear, but luckily they headed it wide. Jacob had it covered all the way anyway. Never anything to worry about there. We're up to 4th in the league as it stands, albeit 12 points behind Worthing, but with a game in hand over them. But that's still a big gap. But I think I don't know that we've played Worthing yet. We might have done, actually. I think I do remember playing them. But we'll have to play them at least once. And like I say, they'll have a wobble patch. They all have a wobble patch eventually. They've cut through our back three relatively easy there. They just went through the gap between our two big lumbering giants. It is the disadvantage playing the big three because we don't have Hughes in the middle of them on the cover instruction, where he's been most of the season covering for the big boys when they're a little bit slow to turn. And we saw there that we are a little bit vulnerable when we don't have him in there covering those little gaps that tend to appear between big slow giants. And we've got 3 big slow giants at the back now, and that might be one too many. We might have gone a little too far, but Lowe deals with that company. The big tall giants can deal with that kind of thing all day long. If they want to just cross it from deep, yeah, we'll have that. We'll deal with that, no problem. Right, Young looking for Hayball, just drive it across goal. He does drive it across goal, but no one's there. But the clearance only goes as far as Scowen, who looks for Vaughan Thorne, and there he is. Vaughan Thorne, the best name in the save so far. it feels wrong using the word best, but if I'm going to use it in a sentence describing anybody, it would be Vaughan Thorne. And at 3-0, we've made this look very, very comfortable. Good work from Scowen as well. By the way, Scowen is training to play wing-back. So although he's getting his first ever run playing in his actual position of central midfield at the moment, he is, I mean, we're going to see it now, in fact, because Hayball and Scott are both tired. So Tobin comes on for Scott. Scowen goes out to play right wing-back where he's training to play, and we can bring Hughes on in there. And yeah, Scowen, the greatest utility man in the history of the world, is going to add another position to his repertoire. He can play central midfield, right back and wing. So of course he can play wing back. He's just got to learn it. And he's just learning the position now. And in the meantime, that goal has come from his side, and hopefully getting him on there for 20 minutes of match experience in his new role isn't going to end up costing us, because we don't actually have a backup player who can play right wing back. If Hayball gets injured, it'll be Scowen who goes out there anyway. So he does need to become accomplished in the position as soon as possible. So if we do find ourselves having to do it, we're not penalised by having a player playing out of position. Ennis is going to score it. He's sticking it there. Oh, he didn't score. Tete's been fouled there, surely. He's 6'7". He doesn't fall over by accident. Someone's kicked him there. Ball forward again, looking for Tobin, who of course is a big boy in his own right. 6'4", probably 6'6" with the hair, but 6'4" playing at left wing back, because we like him big around here. Young playing it forward now, looking for Lowe. Can't find him. Scowen's there though. It's come off Devine somehow. I mean, that could only be a slight deflection from Devine. Surely Scowen's going to be furious and that's been taken off him. Let's have a look at it from the other angle. How much does Devine even know about it? Scowen with the shot. It bobbles off a defender and then Devine's back and ends up in the back of the net. In real non-league football, where you don't have stuff like this being verified, that is absolutely Scowen's goal. He's been robbed there. But at 4-1 against a team who started the day above us in the league, that is one of our most impressive performances of the season. I will take that all day long. And now, similar to what we've done so far this season, we are going to get a bunch of matches played, because this is our 3rd year at this level. We don't want to mess around showing you 10 episodes over the course of the season. We're going to get all the way through probably to Christmas for the next episode, and hopefully still be in a promotion race when we get there. How injured is McLennan? Not very. That's all right then. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.